But Emily's List is the first political activity I ever engaged in other than voting.
Is that right?
That's exactly right. And it must have been 25 years ago. I was a young mom back in Texas, and I remember getting something in the mail at that Emily's List and thinking, that's a good idea. and I pulled out my checkbook and wrote what was for me a kind of whopping big check. I think it was $25. And became a member, signed on to this.
That's amazing.
But the whole notion, there was someone who said, it's time. It's time for women to be part of electoral office, and we're going to be there with women who do that. We're going to make that happen. You're not on your own out there when you do this. And I had no clue that 25 years later, I would end up in a place where the first people I talked to seriously about thinking through the question of running for Senate would be you, because of your role at Emily's List. You know, it's the reminder, because I've always remembered the acronym, early money is like geese, but it's also the notion that Emily's List is out there planting little seeds that take a long, long time to grow. In my case, I didn't think they would ever grow. It wasn't where I thought. But then Emily's List is there to help when the time is right.
So I love hearing that story, and we hear that story over and over again. We always talk about building the pipeline at Emily's List, training women and encouraging them to run that first race, whether it's school board or county commissioner, and in hopes that they'll keep on running. But it's really that first political action, that thought that my $25 is going to make a difference for a woman running maybe in a state far away from a place you've never heard of. But that network of women, and there are some men, and they are great men, but that community that networks together to ensure that those early dollars and that early support for those candidates are there is what is such an exciting thing for all of us. And you know, I've been at Emily's List now really just a year and a half. And in that time, the best blessing for me is exactly that story of how in 26 years of Emily's List being in existence, we can track that growth of involvement with women in this country. And to think that 26 years ago, we'd never elected a Democratic woman to the United States Senate in her own right. Just 26. When you cut that first check, we still had not elected a Democratic woman to the United States Senate in her own right. And now we get to join together to work to get you to be the first woman elected in Massachusetts to the United States Senate, and women all over the country. I'm looking forward to the day when we don't have to talk about the firsts anymore.
You and me both. You and me both. But you know, it's hard to take on any race.
It is.
And you and I talked about this right from the beginning. It is hard to put yourself out there. It's always something you don't know quite how it works, even if you helped out on campaigns. It's not the same as being out there on the tip. Knowing you're not alone, I think is a huge part. That to me is what Emily's List is about. You know you're not alone.
Well, Elizabeth, you're not alone.
Perfect.